Hey everybody, this is Kim from the Stephen A. Orthwein Center. Tips and tricks for May. I had a request for some seated hip strengthening exercises. Also, what goes right along with strengthening is also improving flexibility. So our hips move in a few different motions, right? So our hips can move together. We call it adduction. They move apart, abduction, ABD. Abduction. They also, so this is abduction, they internally rotate and they externally rotate. They also do flexion and they do extension, all right? So how are we gonna do some of strengthening for those different movements, all right? So we can start with our legs just a little bit further apart and work on just doing knee taps. 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Then you can put your legs apart and you go 1, 2, and so forth, okay? Let's do those same type of things and add some resistance. I could put a pillow in between my legs or a ball. Make sure your legs are, your toes are or flat-footed, whichever you prefer, but work on squeezing that ball. I usually say anytime we have something that we're squeezing, we hold for like 3 seconds. So hold for 3 seconds and release. Hold and release. You can also, if you don't have any supplies, you can use your hands. Put 2 fists together and put them next to each other and squeeze their hands together. You can do 1 fist, squeeze them together, squeeze them together. That's another way. For abduction, you can hold and resist. So work on pushing your knees together, pushing them out, kind of resisting with your hands. If you have decreased shoulder strength or that just isn't working for you, you can put anything or a TheraBand around your legs, twist it, hold it, put your feet together, and work on extending those knees away from one another, right? If you can hold for 3 seconds and then release, that's fantastic. Some other motions you could do is work on hip flexion, pulling those knees up tall, and then leaning forward and doing some hamstring curls, or working on just doing that full range of motion, lifting that leg up and off the chair and over to the side. All right. All right. Another thing that's really close to the hips is the pelvis, right? So your pelvis works in 2 different directions. You can rotate one way and rotate the other. So when you're sitting in a chair, think of your recliner. If you're leaning back in your recliner, your hips are all curved. Your pelvis is kind of slumped. So lean forward, push your hips behind you, and work on, if you have your thumb behind you, you want to work on tilting them forward. So work on that pelvic tilt, okay? Just moving those back and forth. Just being able to move and being aware of those different motions is huge. So remember, pelvic tilt, forward and backward. So I can push my belly button forward and then pull it back. But pay attention to how your pelvis is tilted, forward and backward, okay? Hips, use some resistance, squeeze that ball together. 3 sets of 10 is always recommended for all these activities. If you want to do a little 3-second hold, a little extra squeeze, it's always beneficial. And then TheraBands, I love my TheraBands. So if you have a scarf, that works as well. And just work on abducting those. And then just doing some knee raises. And then some rotation, hip rotation, okay? All right, 3 sets of 10 for each. I'm challenging you to get those hips in shape. All right, have a great day.